Meeting to order with a quick roll call. Regent Acker,
Present.
Regent Bean. Here. Regent Bernstein. Regent Brown.
Here.
Regent Hubbard.
Here.
Regent Illich.
Here.
Regent Weiser. Regent White.
Here.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be with all of you this morning. And I'd like to begin by expressing my most sincere gratitude to Sally Churchill on my right. This is her last meeting with us as the University of Michigan's Vice President and Secretary, a position that she has served in for nearly 2 decades. Sally will soon transition to service as a special advisor to the Vice President and Secretary, and will always be grateful for her wisdom and insight, her relentless energy, and most of all, her commitment and service to the university. Thank you, Sally. Let's hear it for her. I'm also pleased to announce that with formal regental approval today, John Kinsey, I don't know where John is, there he is, Chief of Staff in the President's office currently, will don the mantle of Vice President and Secretary of the University. Let's hear it for John. As John does so, Jay Baer, where's Jay? Will become currently the Chief of Staff in the College of Literature, Science, and the Arts, will become the Chief of Staff in the Office of the President and a member of the university's leadership team. Let's hear it for Jay. I would also be remiss if I failed to offer my heartfelt congratulations to Rebecca Cunningham on my right, our Vice President for Research and Innovation, who has accepted an offer to join the other U of M, the University of Minnesota, has its 15th president. Rebecca has left an indelible mark on our university, and we cannot thank her enough for her exceptional leadership and selfless service on our team. Her last day with us in Ann Arbor will be March 31st. Let's hear it for Rebecca. We have also had several other notable updates and achievements since we last came together. So simply to highlight a few, appropriately for the chilly start to the spring we experienced last week, University of Michigan researchers recently announced that they have identified the protein that enables mammals to sense cold. Maybe we can knock that out, Lori, so I don't sense the cold. Their work, published in Nature Neuroscience, fills in a lacuna in sensory biology and may better help us understand why we feel cold differently, and may even allow us to better treat patients who experience cold while dealing with diseases such as cancer patients receiving chemotherapy. Michigan Medicine's Ann Arbor facility was recently ranked by Newsweek as the top facility in the state and the third best nationally. Only 2 others surpassed us, the Mayo Clinic and the Ronald Reagan UCLA Medical Center. Our colleagues and friends at Michigan Medicine have also reduced the greenhouse gas emissions associated with inhaled anesthesia by almost 90%, ensuring patient safety while supporting university-wide carbon neutrality. The reductions they achieved, more than 6,000 tons of carbon dioxide equivalent, were equal to that of removing more than 1,300 gasoline-powered vehicles from the road for a full year. Now, that's pretty impressive. Over at the Law Quad, the University of Michigan students scored a 97.2% first-time bar pass rate. That's the highest in the nation, and it placed them ahead of Harvard, Stanford, and even my alma mater, the University of Chicago. Joining them in achievement, our Ross School of Business was named one of the top 5 business schools in the world for undergraduates by poets and quants. Given all these developments, and truly thanks to all of you, American Caldwell recently ranked the University of Michigan #6 in the world for brand recognition. University of Michigan was also the top public U.S. university in that ranking. As we go into spring and the celebrations and moments and memories it will bring, I'd like us to remember who we are as a great public university, one fully committed to freedom of speech and diversity in thought, as well as to respect, integrity, and dignity. Congressman Jack Bergman, a retired lieutenant governor of the Marine Corps, highlighted the vital importance of civility at the Congressional Breakfast in D.C. earlier this month, the largest gathering in the event's 7-decade history. He cited a commitment to civility that he helped draft for incoming freshman class of congresspersons. It's a bipartisan statement, which reads in part, "We are dedicated to showing proper respect to one another and all others, encouraging productive dialogue and modeling civility in our public and private actions. While we may vehemently disagree in matters of law and policy, we will strive at all times to maintain collegiality and the honor of our office." Let's do the same here at the university. We will look forward to seeing you at spring commencement, where Brad Meltzer, an American novelist and historian, will give our commencement address. Before we go on with the rest of the business for the morning, I invite Regent White to present a resolution to Vice President Churchill. Regent White?
Yes, it is my honor to present this Regents resolution. The Regents of the University of Michigan convey their congratulations and deep appreciation to Vice President and Secretary Sally J. Churchill, JD, as she steps down from her position after 19 years of service in this role. She will then become special counsel to the president for 1-year term. A double Michigan alumna, Sally also holds a master's degree in land use and environmental policy from Tufts University. She began her career at UM as an assistant attorney in the office of the vice president and general counsel in 1996, and also served as a lecturer in the School of Environment and Sustainability for 14 years, earning the Distinguished Lecturer Award in 2015. She was appointed vice president and secretary of the university in May 2005. As vice president and secretary, Sally displayed dedication and professionalism as the liaison officer for the Board of Regents, serving under 3 presidents and 17 regents. Her ability to juggle and navigate multiple meetings, opinions, tickets, conflicts, priorities, and personalities is unmatched. It is with our sincere appreciation for her devotion to the university and her friendship that the Board of Regents thank her and wish her every happiness in all her future endeavors. Furthermore, the Regents will wholeheartedly honor her as Vice President Emerita and Secretary of the University on May 1, 2025, when her service to the university concludes. Thank you for your incredible service.
Thank you, Kathy. May I speak?
Sally, before you speak, I think there might be some regents who'd like to add some comments.
For me, this is emotional.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm so glad you're not actually leaving. I've been a regent for I've been a regent for 16 years of your 19, and so I feel like we kind of grew up together. I have so loved working with you. I could go on and on about the qualities and the gifts and the skills that you have and that you've shown. You have kept us all unified. You have been able to manage 8 very independent thinkers and strong-minded leaders as well as a president and the EO officer team. It's a lot of balancing, and you've done just an exemplary job. It's why the University of Michigan governance is so strong in our state and why we've stayed so united. But I think probably for me, the biggest bonus is I've made a friend for life. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Regent Illich. Regent Beam?
Thanks, President Ono. Sally, I guess one thing I'd like to explain to everyone is when you are a newly elected regent, you come on campus and you have no idea what this job entails, what's really going to be asked of you. And Sally is the first person you meet, at least that we all met, with regard to the university and learning about the university. Now, she would say quite a bit that it's like drinking from a fire hose. Keep in mind that she was the one who was holding the fire hose. But it's just remarkable, everything, her institutional knowledge and the care that she has for our university. And if there's someone who embodies the care for the university, it's Sally. And she's been a remarkable mentor and a remarkable friend. So we wish you the best, Sally.
Thank you, Regent Beam. Regent Acker?
Sally, I've been thinking about what to say to you over the last few days, and I couldn't quite come up with something that wasn't more articulate than what my colleagues did. You have been an incredible mentor, an incredible friend. The thing I have loved about you the most is being at a store and seeing you not sure which one you want to pick out, so you bring both sweaters home to try them on. But, I was thinking most about, and I was sitting in my office in my house trying to write something, and I looked up on the wall and I saw 2 degrees up there, one for me and one for my wife, and both had your signature on it. And I thought about a person who, I couldn't think of a person who's had a bigger impact on my life over the last 6 years than you. Many late nights on the phone, many days preparing for what during COVID we had something like 88 meetings, and being the guiding force that got us through that horrendous year and my year, frankly, of being chair. And I just can't thank you enough for all you've done for me personally, for this university, for this community. You are an amazing, amazing asset. And we have been so, so lucky to have you over the last 20 years. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Regent Hubbard?
Yes, couldn't let the moment go by without saying something, Sally. So thank you again for your service here. Your steady leadership has been so incredible. And I reflect back to maybe one of our first conversations we had upon my election to this board. And you said, well, do you have any questions? And I didn't know what I was in for, that's certain. But your leadership and your counsel and advice over the past 3+ years has been, incredible as far as making me a better regent and able to help lead this board and make good decisions and, not make rash decisions. You're certainly very good at helping guide us to make the best, most thoughtful decisions we can as a body. And I think this position that you're in is critical to the ability of our president to be successful, critical to the ability of this board to be successful. And you have big shoes to fill for our friends out there in the audience. But we know that you're still going to be around, and I look forward to helping you pick out those sweaters in the future too. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I know that Regent Brown would like to make some comments. Regent Brown?
Yes, thank you. And I apologize. It's not ideal to do this over Zoom, and I'll do it again in person. But Sally, you and I have a very close and special relationship because both of our long history with the University of Michigan. And I've always said that what makes the University of Michigan great is not our buildings. but it's absolutely the people. And this is a position that the public doesn't really see or probably understandably understand very well, but there is no more impactful position in the university than the one that Sally has occupied. And there's been no one in the history of the university that has done it better. And I've only used this term for one other person in modern history at the university, but Sally belongs on the Mount Rushmore of this university. And the greatness that we've achieved is absolutely because of our people, and no one more so than because of Sally. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Regent Brown. Vice President Lynch, I understand you have some comments to make?
Yes, thank you so much, Santa. So there is a tradition that when an executive officer leaves, the remaining senior most executive officer says a few words. So I apologize to all of you that now you're stuck with me. But what I would say is I've known Sally for more than 11 years. She is a dear colleague, dear friend, my sister. And what I learned more than 11 years ago is what I know today, that she is whip smart. She has a deep love for the University of Michigan. She is a true institutionalist who puts this place first. She's someone who speaks her mind, and in that way she shows courage, and honestly, she makes our decisions and our decision-making process better through the diversity of thought she brings to all of those discussions. She has a calmness that we all need so much during difficult times. And it's not just because in 2 decades she's seen it all. It's because that's who she is. That's her internal strength. And I would just add, she has an incredibly deep, loving kindness for colleagues, their families, and she brings that level of support to all of us each and every day. You make us better, and I'm so grateful on behalf of all of your colleagues to say thank you, Sally.
Thank you. Wow.
Let me just ask, are there any other comments virtually? All right, over
Yeah,
to you.
This is Kathy.
Oh, go ahead, Kathy.
I would very much like to tell you how great a friend you are to me, Sally. And I look forward to continue our friendship for the rest of our lives. I'm the only one, I guess, on the board that's been here longer than you. And yet I've still learned more from you than probably from anyone else I've served with. So again, thank you so much. And go blue.
Thank you, Regent White.
Thank you. Can I make comments? Okay. So I'm Wolverine Barbie today. For those that can't see me, but that's who I am today. And I'm somebody that doesn't like attention, and I like to work behind the scenes. So this is very nice and very uncomfortable, both for me. I'd like to just tell a little story to kind of remind us why we're all here, and my deep appreciation for everybody at the table and for this opportunity that I've had. In 1910, there's a girl named Faye Shirte. She was an orphan. She was adopted by her aunt and uncle, Henry and Claire Shirte. They lived on a farm near Cassopolis. Henry died, and Claire and Faye, who was probably about 17 in 1910, moved to Ann Arbor so she could get her college degree. They lived on Wilmont Street, which is about 2 blocks from here. And she got a 4-year degree as a teacher, moved to a little town in the Thumb to teach called Emily City, where she met her husband, eventually, Howard, who didn't go to college. They had 3 sons. 2 of them went to Michigan during the war. One ended up getting a PhD in electrical engineering and became really the father of electrical engineering. And there's a chaired professorship named after him here today. The other went to law school after undergraduate, school, and became a judge, a federal judge. Her granddaughter went here in the 70s and got an undergraduate degree and then eventually went to law school. Her great-grandson, who she didn't know, came to this school to get a bachelor's degree in business. So that's 4 generations going back to 1910. She graduated in 1914. Obviously, that's my family, people I'm close to. And in some way, I love the story, but it's not a unique story. I've met people in this job, I can think of somebody in particular, but others who their families go back even further. I know somebody whose family is like 5th generation, back into the late 1800s. And you all have your connections and stories here, multiple generations, parents, grandparents, hopeful for your children or your grandchildren. And, it's just such an incredible connection that people have. And the other connection is, like, if you're in northern Michigan and you're in, I don't know, Tequamanon Falls or someplace, and you see somebody wearing a Michigan sweatshirt, which we see everywhere, they have some love and affection for this place, whether it's through sports, through the health system, because they have family that went here, they went here, or just because they love it. They're a taxpayer of the state of Michigan, and this is, a place that they love. The way I look at this is we are all, it's just everybody at this table, from the president, the regents, the executive officers, others in the room, we have this awesome responsibility to this awesome place. And the image I have in my mind, maybe because I'm British and my last name is Churchill, is the people who handle the crown jewels, and they wear the blue gloves, to handle the jewels, for centuries, right? And I feel like, in a way, that is our job. We're wearing those blue gloves and loving this place, protecting it, caring about it, taking it into the future, expanding it, making it more accessible to people that are orphans from farms and otherwise across the state. And, I think, that our job really is to make sure that it's the same place 114 years from now as it was in 1910, but better, but is important in people's lives. And it's just been a tremendous honor, and I'm very humbled. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sally. And you are always welcome to any events, and this is not a goodbye from us. You're part of the family, and thanks for everything you've done for the university. I'd like to call on Regent Beam to read a resolution for Vice President Cunningham.
Thank you, President Ono. The Regents of the University of Michigan extend their congratulations to Vice President for Research and Innovation, Dr. Rebecca Cunningham, as she steps down from her position to become the President of the University of Minnesota. She was appointed Vice President for Research in April 2020. Vice President Cunningham earned a bachelor's degree from Fairfield University and a medical degree from Jefferson Medical College in Philadelphia. She completed postdoctoral work at U of M before joining the faculty as a lecturer in 1999. A talented and experienced researcher, administrator, educator, and clinician, she spent more than 20 years as an emergency medicine physician at U of M and Hurley Medical Center in Flint. She has secured federal research funding and authored and co-authored scholarly publications on injury prevention, opioid overdose, substance misuse, prevention, and public health. Rebecca directs the U of M Injury Prevention Center, established a national consortium to improve firearms safety, served as Associate Vice President for Research Health Sciences, and is the former Research Chair for the U of M Department of Emergency Medicine. She is the William G. Barson Collegiate Professor of Emergency Medicine in the Medical School and Professor of Health Behavior and Health Education in the School of Public Health. The Board of Regents wish Vice President Coleman success in her new role and thank her for her outstanding service to the University of Michigan.
I understand that Vice President Churchill has some comments on behalf of the leadership team.
Yeah, hi, Rebecca. Yeah, I'm still the most senior for about another 30 minutes at the table, so take that, Tim. Rebecca, you've been such a fabulous colleague. I remember well sitting at the Ann Arbor Distillery with some exotic cocktail in hand, solving the problems of the university, wrestling with the budget, you know, with colleagues at this table, just always focusing on moving it forward. I've worked with many VPs for research, and you have just been so stellar in your relentless focus on expanding the scope, the kind of research, the dollars coming in, our productivity, the intellectual rigor, the productivity of our faculty. It's been very eye-opening to see how much you've dug in and really just thrown yourself into this work in such a profound way. You've actually been at the university a little longer than I have. And we are so incredibly proud. We were all crossing our fingers and toes, and you went through that horrible public search process. But of course, we weren't surprised when you know, of course, came out on top. But we are just, we're bursting our buttons with pride, and we all look forward to being invited to your investiture and making a trip to Minnesota to honor you yet again. So thank you, and we can't wait to watch what you do.
I'd just like to add just a couple of comments, Rebecca. It's been really wonderful working with you for the past 18 months. And what you have accomplished in collaboration with the leadership team and the deans is really stunning. Not only do we have record numbers in terms of research expenditures, of which we're very, very proud, but you have really set the stage for us to reach an even higher set of measures and impact, more importantly. Through your leading the review of research at the institution, identifying with the Blue Ribbon Panel opportunities for us to do even better, and we will. And so, as you assume the leadership of the University of Minnesota, I hope that you will look back at Ann Arbor and Dearborn and Flint with pride, with the successes that will result from that difficult work that you were engaged in, and whether it's enhancing research or amplifying research or elevating research. Certainly that is a core of what the University of Michigan is about, and you have left us stronger. So I wanted to personally thank you for all of that. Over to you, Rebecca.
Well, thank you to the Regents and to Santa and President Ono and Sally for those very kind remarks. And you know, as I reflect, I guess I'd just like to say a few things. One, you know, I've been here 28 years, actually. So, and many of you I know I've worked around the table with here, and in central administration for 7 years, you know, in this role for 5, first as interim and then 4. But I came here 28 years ago, fresh out of medical school, not knowing which end of the stethoscope worked and having no idea how to take care of patients in the broad way that this place taught me. It's here at Michigan where I learned to take care of sick patients, to care for patients across the state of Michigan in, you know, in difficult places and times, in Flint through the water crisis, through here at the university, working with folks, you know, like Donna and others decades ago. It's here that I learned that public health was so important and that we could take care of, as a university, the health of our communities from this academic place, and learned what that meant. It's here that I learned that Michigan is a platform that we can have a national stage and make true impact across the country by using our academic voices and objectives to improve the safety of the nation around the topics that I know many of us care deeply about, like firearm safety in our communities and opioid crisis and injury. So it is the University of Michigan that has taught me everything about how to be a clinician, how to be an educator. I didn't know what a p-value was or how to write a research paper when I got here. And all of those things I've learned here over the past 28 years, and I'm forever grateful. I want to just say the colleagues at this table have inspired me and taught me so much that I know we've had difficult times over these last 5 years, including COVID. And I know in each of the conversations with each of you that when we get to a hard decision, the answer always is we're going to do the right thing, even if it's the difficult thing, and even if it's not the popular thing, we're going to do the right thing for the university and the right thing for the people. And I just want to tell you how much that means to me and how much I will take that with me going forward. My goal has always been in this role and with the team that I'm so grateful for across OVPR, that every day we wouldn't fix everything, we wouldn't make everything better, but we would leave the place better than we found it. And I know everybody at this table is working to do that every day too. And I'm just so grateful and will forever be a Wolverine. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Rebecca, for that. Just take it easy on us when we're playing hockey against you guys.
On my future institution when we're playing football.
There's one more thing I'd like to add before we move on to the regular business of the institution. There's been a historic moment at the university. There's a person to my right that I want to recognize, and that is Crystal James. Crystal James was named as the police chief of the University of Michigan Police Department. And she's the first African-American person to hold that position in Ann Arbor, and the first woman chief of any of the University of Michigan's 3 campuses in that role. I'd like us to give Crystal James a round of applause. All right, we now move on to the work of the university, and first I call on Regent Hubbard for a report from the Finance, Audit, and Investment Committee.
Well, thank you, President Ono. The Finance, Audit, and Investment Committee met to consider a variety of topics, including recent communications from students and faculty groups. The Board of Regents has heard multiple calls for divestment from our endowment of companies linked to Israel. We have listened carefully. The university's governing board and officers have a fiduciary responsibility to protect our assets for the long term so that we may leave to succeeding generations a university at least as strong as the one which we have entrusted. The primary purpose of the university endowment is to generate the greatest possible income, subject to the appropriate amount of investment risk in support of the university's mission. Our endowment supports numerous scholarships for needy students and drives groundbreaking research across the university and world. Careful stewardship of the endowment is critical to sustaining academic excellence because the endowment itself provides a perpetual source of income through distributions, over 90% of which last year supported the critical needs of the university. It's important that the university maintain an investment portfolio diversified across a full range of entities. To do otherwise would be to increase our investment risk and decrease our investment returns. Our investment approach has been underscored consistently by university leaders, including the Board of Regents, most recently in 2015 and in 2017. We must always consider the impact our decisions might have on students, faculty, and staff. We do not make this decision lightly. Together, we must work to address the most complex challenges of our time. We do this through active engagement with one another and with researchers in countries around the world. After deliberation, we have decided to stand by our longstanding policy. We will continue to shield the endowment from political pressures and base our investment decisions on financial factors such as risk and return. We are not moving to make any divestment of any kind from the university endowment. Thank you, President Ono.
Thank you. Are there any other comments? Regent Beam?
Thanks, President Ono. We receive a lot of correspondence, and many times there was a comment made that the endowment was invested in companies from the state or country of Israel. We've asked the endowment managers the endowment has no direct investment in any Israeli company. What we do have are funds that one of those companies may be part of a fund. But another statement that was made was that $6 billion, or roughly 1/3 of our endowment, is invested in these Israeli companies. I asked the endowment team about that, and in actuality, less than 0.1% of the endowment is invested indirectly in such companies. So I just wanted to make that clarification.
Thank you for that comment. Are there any other comments from Regents virtually or around the table? All right, thank you very much for your report, Regent Hubbard. We now move on to the Chair's report. Regent Hubbard.
Thanks again, President Ono. Yesterday, several regents and EOs, executive officers, had an opportunity to, I'm sorry, let me start again, because that's not actually right. Earlier this month, Regent Brown and I attended the 73rd Annual Congressional Breakfast event in Washington, D.C. This event supports the Samuel Chappell Family Scholarship. The speaker was Congressman Jack Bergman, and that was a great opportunity to connect with our alumni and leaders in the Washington, D.C. area. And in February, Regent Illich and I attended an alumni board meeting with our partners from the U of M Alumni Association as well, and provided them an update from the Board of Regents. That completes my report.
Thank you very much, Regent Hubbard. Regent Illich, I think you have a comment?
I do, thank you. I have some remarks I'd like to make this morning and make sure that they're in the record. Sports have the power to change the world. It has the power to inspire, the power to unite people in a way that little else does, said by Nelson Mandela. I'd like to introduce, and Jenna, I'd like you to stand while I speak to you. I'd like to introduce Jenna Trubiano, who graduated from the University of Michigan in 2017 and then received her MBA from the School of Kinesiology. Oh, no, sorry. She got her degree in the School of Kinesiology at U of M in 2017, and then in 2023, she earned her MBA from EMU. She is our head coach at the University of Michigan women's ice hockey team. She works tirelessly and volunteers, as well as have a full-time job to the team. She's devoted. And she is, I'm very proud to say, she is a Little Caesars former player for Little Caesars 16 and under. She won a state championship and placed 3rd at nationals. Then was captain of the 16 and under team at Little Caesars and won the state championship, and again played 19 and under 2002-2013 season. Coach Trubiano has been a player, a captain, and an assistant coach before becoming head coach. She was named the CCWHA Coach of the Year. I want to thank Jenna for her generous commitment to her players, to women's hockey, and to Michigan. And thank the team who works hard, sacrifices a financial burden, and makes the Block M proud. Thank you. I'm not done yet. Okay. Sorry, I have a couple minutes. Because I'm on a topic I'm passionate about. I want to acknowledge the Michigan Daily article by Lindsay Budin, and I hope I say that right, her last name. She wrote an article March 20th, which is entitled, "The Push Toward Varsity Status for Michigan Women's Hockey Needs to Start Now." Ms. Budin writes, "The state of Michigan is without a single varsity women's hockey program. Stunting that growth is unacceptable. The answer, of course, is to elevate women's hockey to varsity status, making the Wolverines the first Division I varsity program in Michigan. For me, that would be leaders and best." Part of our mission statement at the University of Michigan says, "To serve the people of Michigan." And right now, the people of Michigan are not being served. There is a demand for varsity women's hockey at the University of Michigan by the people of Michigan. On March 16th, the newly created PWHL, which is the Professional Women's Hockey League, hosted a game at Little Caesars Arena between Boston and Ottawa. 13,736 fans came to watch women's hockey at LCA. Just FYI, LCA holds 19,000. So it broke a U.S. attendance women's hockey record. The PWHL also secured a $240 million media deal, which is a record for women's sports. Observation 1, the definition of ice hockey player at the University of Michigan is male. There is currently a broken cycle of elite women's hockey players leaving our state to play at Wisconsin, Ohio State, or other NCAA D1 programs on the East Coast. They establish lives and they don't return to Michigan for their careers or to raise families. The elite female hockey players from the state of Michigan are forced out of the state to compete at top-level programs elsewhere. 2 examples. Kirsten Sims, who plays for the University of Wisconsin. She's from Plymouth, Michigan, and proudly also a Little Caesars alumni. She led the NCAA in scoring for the 2023-24 season. And Cassie Hall, also a University of Michigan player from South Lyon, Michigan, and Little Caesars alumni. She led the rookies in scoring. This lack of opportunity leads to an absence of female role models for coaches in Michigan as well. So a couple stats. 16 of the 24 NCAA women's D1 national champions have been Big Ten schools. OSU, Wisconsin, Minnesota. Let's add Michigan to that. And most recently, the Ohio State women's hockey team won their 2nd title in 3 seasons. For your information, the current NCAA D1 hockey programs are: the state of Massachusetts has 11 NCAA D1 hockey programs, men, and 8 women hockey programs, NCAA D1. The state of New York has 11 men's programs, NCAA D1 hockey programs, and 10 women NCAA D1 hockey programs. The state of Minnesota, and Rebecca, I assume you will improve this, has 6 NCAA D1 hockey programs, 6 men's programs, and 6 women's programs. The state of Michigan has 7 NCAA D1 hockey programs, men, and guess how many women programs we have in the state of Michigan? 0. And only 1 NCAA Division III women's program, that's at Adrian College. Observation 2, the definition of athlete at the University of Michigan is varsity. Historically, the University of Michigan has provided resources and funding for varsity athletes, leaving club sports to utilize player dues and fundraising efforts to have a successful season. The University of Michigan non-varsity women's hockey will be turning 30 years old in 2025. Today, its operating budget is $150,000 to $200,000 each season, and player dues are $3,000 per season. They have had national tournament appearances in the last 2 seasons because of Jenna and the team, so they are a high-achieving team. Historically, ice sports within club sports have had to pay for ice time at Yost, approximately $30,000 to $40,000 per year. I know the team is profoundly grateful that President Ono has attended games and has assisted with easing the financial burden. Club sport teams and programs are not allowed to work out as a team at university fitness facilities. They're limited to 4 team members at a time, thereby forcing club programs to utilize off-site facilities that are owned by third parties. So for our women's hockey team, they pay approximately $3,000 for that a year. We're at a historical moment. It's time for the University of Michigan to have a varsity team for its women's hockey program. In February, Coach Trubiano had a disturbing experience while playing in an adult league where she was the target of misogynist and harassing behavior. It was widely reported. And equality is not just about numbers, and I've named a few here. It's also about respect. Women belong on the same ice as men. The University of Michigan must show that on our ice, we support varsity women's hockey. That's leadership. Hockey is for everyone. And hey, we are Hockey Town. So thank you. Thank you, President Ono.
Thank you, Regent Illich, and we'll be following up on that. And as you know, I've asked for a feasibility study, and I know our athletic director is not here, but he will be reporting back to us shortly. So thank you for that.
Great, thank you
Regent
so
Acker?
much.
That was my ask as well. I would strongly encourage both you and Athletic Director Manuel to have this feasibility study, because ultimately, I agree strongly with Regent Illich about this. The time has come, and this is part of our service to the people of Michigan, to have a women's hockey team and not force our elite female hockey players to go elsewhere. So thank you to Coach Triviano. Is she still back there? Oh, hi, Jenna. And I appreciate you opening up my eyes on this as well. And this is something we need to do in a reasonable time frame, but it must be moving forward.
Thank you, Regent Acker. Are there any other comments from regents?
Yes, this is Regent Brown. I just want to thank Regent Illich for keeping this issue in front of us. I couldn't have said it better than what she just said. When I first joined the board, in doing my rounds with executive officers, I sat down with the athletic department leadership and told them that, a simple logic statement is, if being a student athlete is a great thing for those that currently are at our institution, more is better. And I wanted to leave this board eventually having created more varsity sports. Women's ice hockey is long overdue and should be the next sport to achieve varsity status, because all of our club sports athletes work incredibly hard and deserve recognition.
Thank you, Regent Brown. Are there any other comments from regents virtually? Regent Beam?
Thanks, President Ono. I'm an old hockey player, so when I hear this, I think of my niece, who was a very talented player and ended up stopped playing hockey because she started giving more time to soccer, because in Michigan, your career ends early unless you go out of state to play. In our state, we have 5 dominating junior hockey programs, more than any other state in the country, all in Metro Detroit. And all of these kids, the girls, end up going out of state. It was somewhat galling last weekend to see Ohio State and Wisconsin play for the national title. I think we do have the money, we do have the resources, we have the resolve to get this done. And I would like to, I noticed a lot of Little Caesars plugs to my colleague to the left. So from a CompuWare person, would just like to say this is something we can get done.
Thank you. Any other comments? If not, I'd like to just make a comment around this. Coach Tribbiani, thank you for your engagement, for inviting me into a number of games. It's been a thrill to watch you coach the team and also to watch the players. What a great team. And just a couple of comments. One is that everyone who's watching this by live stream or who's here, come out and support them. They're extraordinary scholar athletes and they deserve our support. So that's the first thing I want to say. The second thing I want to say specifically to the coach is that I have a very soft spot for you and your team for 2 reasons. It's that, as you know, there is a former coach of our men's hockey team, Red Berenson, who I love, by the way, and see on a regular basis. And he always teases me that although I was born in Canada, that he knows that I can't skate. And he regularly teases me about that. And I want to thank you and your team for never calling me out on my inability to skate. But as you can see, you have a lot of love from this table. And we look forward to follow-up conversations. And thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule. I know that you work on top of volunteering. You pour your heart out for those scholar athletes. We're indebted to you and grateful to you. So thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us today. Let's hear it for Coach. Okay, now we're going to move on to the consent agenda for this Regents meeting. The minutes for the previous meetings and reports are on the website, the Board of Regents website. And we will move directly to a report from Chancellor Grasso. Chancellor Grasso.
Thank you, President Ono. I'd like to report that last month I announced the creation of the Office of Holistic Excellence. And this is going to replace and expand our vision for DEI on our campus. It's going to build and amplify our commitment to holistic, broad, and inclusive thinking and in community, and fostering systems thinking and unity of knowledge. It's going to be led by 3 co-directors, Rima Berry-Hung, who's Director of Human Services, Sharia Carter, Director of the Center for Social Justice and Inclusion, and College of Arts, Science, and Letters Dean, Associate Dean, Marie Wong. Also, we are planning for our commencement, which will be April 27th on our campus. Our commencement speaker will be Greg Harden, former U of M Ann Arbor Executive Associate Athletic Director for Student Health and Welfare, and he will serve as our undergraduate speaker. Our graduate speaker will be Ashwini Balasubramanian, who is, she is one of our graduates, and she's a very diminutive person. And I say that only because of her job, which is manager of advanced engineering for Harley Davidson. So it's not the same, the image that you would conjure up for the person who's leading that for Harley Davidson, but she is one of our graduates, and she is going to deliver the commencement address at our graduate commencement ceremony. Also, in the spirit of what Regent Illich was just talking about, I would like to say that our women's hockey team, for the first time in program history, qualified for the national championship of the American Collegiate Hockey Association. And one of the teams that we faced in the competition rounds was U of M Ann Arbor. And that was a great experience for our team. And I'd like to end with that. Go Dearborn.
Thank you very much, Chancellor Grasso. And I'd like to also take this opportunity to congratulate you and the entire community at your campus for the kind of innovative thinking that you've just mentioned in terms of pedagogy, but also in this case in terms of the university's approach to diversity, equity, and inclusion. We certainly have those kinds of conversations on all 3 campuses, and then we know that this is a topic of great interest, and also something that requires the investment and thought and innovation of every member of our community. And as I said, this is yet another example of how the Dearborn campus is really adding to the conversation and really leading. And I want to thank you for bringing that up, that initiative up, your leadership in your report today. Thank you very much. And over to Chancellor Fry.
Thank you, President Ono. We have been working hard to advance research on the Flint campus. Today, I am pleased to announce that Gurgana Kojapacheva, Associate Professor of Public Health and Health Sciences, received a $468,000 grant from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services for telemedicine research. The funding will allow researchers to interview children regarding their experience with telehealth, to improve telehealth technologies, and decrease disparities in access and equity. U of M Flint's Bachelor of Social Work program has been ranked as one of the country's best for 2024 by Forbes Advisor. Forbes ranked 40 accredited nonprofit colleges offering an online BSW degree by considering aspects like credibility, affordability, student outcomes, student experiences, and application process. U of M Flint's BSW program can be completed 100% online and has had growing enrollments. I'm excited to share with you the new academic offerings that we will be introducing at U of M Flint. Our College of Innovation and Technology has new graduate programs such as a Master's in Smart Manufacturing and Human-Centered Design, The College of Health Sciences has added an online Master of Social Work degree that will feature a specialized mental health and behavioral health services curriculum. Finally, our School of Management will introduce Master of Supply Chain Management. Graduates will be prepared to help corporations reform their supply chain infrastructure, addressing issues that became readily apparent during the pandemic and in this week's incident with the bridge collapse in Baltimore. As we look to the future, we look forward to further expanding our offerings of in-demand academic programs and preparing career-ready graduates. Thank you.
Chancellor Fry, thank you so much for your report and also for your leadership in your role. It's always exciting to hear about innovations that occur in terms of research and scholarship, especially as they relate to real stresses in the infrastructure of our nation, as was evidenced by the collapse of the Francis Scott Key Bridge. So thank you so much for that. And also your leadership in working with all the deans and your team moving the Flint campus forward. So thank you very much, Chancellor Fry. We now move on to a report from President Mira Hurley, who is the outgoing president of the Central Student Government. She has worked incredibly hard over this year, and we thank you for your leadership.
Thank you so much. Good morning, President Ono, members of the Board of Regents, and executive officers of the university. I'm pleased to be here with you all today and provide a brief update on behalf of Central Student Government on the Ann Arbor campus. CSG elections are taking place as we speak, and this is the last report of our term. So I'd like to begin by providing a brief summary of some initiatives that Papasha and I have worked on throughout the last year. Firstly, CSG, alongside some student leaders you will hear from later today, has been advocating for increased funding for recreational sports. We hope to see change on this front in the next budget cycle. We've also advocated for high-risk planning efforts to address matters of campus safety, such as drink tampering and a lack of late-night transportation options on and off campus. Throughout this year, the Hurley Ray Executive Committee has made it a priority to involve other student leaders with unique lived experiences in CSG advocacy. We hosted a variety of events throughout this year with co-sponsors and participants from identity-based and affinity-based groups, and we made it a focus to connect other student leaders with administration. More recently, we've made a concerted effort to have university leaders attend and speak at our assembly meetings, where representatives from all 19 schools and colleges are present. Thank you so much to all of those who have engaged with us in this meaningful way. I'd like to focus the remainder of my remarks today on some larger takeaways I have from enduring a very challenging year in this role. I began this role determined to maintain collegial relationships with every leader at this university. However, this year has stretched me, and after experiencing countless moments where I feel that my voice and the student voice is not being adequately addressed and sometimes is even ignored, I am proud and confident in my decision to be direct with you all here today. It is my belief that regential decision-making at this university has increased significantly in the last year in an unhealthy and concerning way. Leaders should not adjust policies and procedures because of personal stances on the issues of the day or out of responsive instincts. Recently, it feels as though the board has been making decisions on behalf of our campus from an emotionally charged place. By being reactive decision makers, you are encouraging students to reciprocate this behavior, and you are escalating tensions. While, as members of the board, you represent constituents external to this university, you also have an obligation to make sure you are taking care of our campus community. At a university where the only guaranteed mechanism for students to speak with regents is in the context of this very meeting, regential decisions are not representative of student interests. Throughout our term, Papasha and I have developed relationships with our counterparts at peer institutions. We're proud when moments arise where we are able to share about the successes at U of M with other schools. However, there's one notable metric where we fall short in comparison with our peers. U of M is the only Big Ten institution where students are not guaranteed representation among the Board of Regents. As long as this continues to be the case, students at U of M will view this decision-making body as the enemy. There will be no opportunities for conversation. There will only be incentives for confrontation. I also want to take this opportunity to voice my concern about overreach when it comes to student speech, expression, and rights. A draft policy to address disruptions to university events and operations was shared with the campus yesterday evening. This email has made me concerned that leaders at our university are subverting years of precedent to amend the Statement of Student Rights and Responsibilities without following proper process. In order to amend the statement in an off-cycle year, which it currently is, the Vice President of Student Life, Chair of the Student Relations Advisory Committee of the Faculty Senate, and the CSG President must unanimously agree to an amendment, period. I won't speak on behalf of others, but I myself have not been approached about commencing this process. I believe it sets a dangerous standard for executive officers in universities and regents to pursue changes to the statement and consequently to student rights without adequate student input or approval and in response to recent specific campus discourse. The statement should not be changed based upon the salient issues of the day or the political ideology of leaders at our university. If you expect students to advocate in ways that you deem non-disruptive, I would implore you all to hold yourselves to higher standards and model respectful communication across differences. A survey sent out hastily is not a meaningful and constructive way to interact with students and to really engage student input. Please take the appropriate amount of time to have genuine conversations with those with whom you may disagree before changing students' rights on campus. Overall, as I expressed in my written remarks, I'm ending my term frustrated with leadership at U of M for not treating students of differing perspectives equally and not valuing student input above the opinions of people external to our university. I intend on working with my successor to ensure that knowledge about the dynamic between the board and student government is something that they are familiar with and for which they are equipped to handle. I hope that this university can be better. I meet with leaders every day who truly care about the student experience, and they make me hopeful that one day the most senior ranks of leadership at U of M will better understand how to serve those who need their support the most. As we come to the end of our term, Bapasha and I are still available to meet with you one-on-one or to provide student input on important issues. It has been my honor and my privilege to serve in this role and represent our many amazing, accomplished, courageous, and diverse students. On behalf of CSG and the student body, I'm grateful for your time today. Thank you.
I just wanted to say a couple of things in response to what you've said. First of all, with respect to the rec sports resolution, thank you for that. That really is consistent with our view, and we're looking forward to working with you in the remaining days and those who are elected to continue to move that forward. I want to thank you also for our meetings, everything that we've discussed, and your frank opinion, which is always very, very helpful, and the drink tampering initiative, which I think is very much needed. So thank you so much for that kind of concrete action on behalf of the students of the institution. You know, in terms of the comments about the draft policy, thank you. That's very timely and very, very important. And we certainly look forward to talking not only to you and to the Vice President, but also to the entire cabinet when we meet shortly to discuss that. So thank you for that. I want you to know that I've heard you and that that advice is very, very important, and appreciate that direct advice as well. So and with that, I'm looking forward to seeing you in I think a week or week and a half, something like that, and look forward to speaking about that, and also welcoming in the next president and vice president of the CSG. So thank you for everything that you've done for the university. Right, any other comments? Okay, great. We're going to move on to just a recognition that there are a number of retirement memoirs of distinguished faculty that are in your materials, and memorials, honorary degree information that has been communicated via the record are in the materials and also on websites for the institution. And now I call for a vote on the consent agenda. Is there a motion? Is there a seconder? Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Virtually?
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? Same sign. The consent agenda passes unanimously. We now move on to the regular agenda, first to the finance and property section. And there are a number of different items for consideration. I will read them and refer to the appropriate vice president. Please let me know if there's additional commentary you would like to make. Item number 2, alternative asset commitment, Vice President Chattis.
Nothing further, Mr. President.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Seconder?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Same sign. The there seems to be two alternative asset commitments. Is there simply one, or are there two different ones? Two different. The second one, is there a motion?
So moved.
The second one?
Second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, same sign.
Number 3, right?
Number 3.
Thank you.
Passes unanimously. The University of Michigan Center for Innovation, Vice President Chattis and Macaulay.
Thank you, Mr. President. The University of Michigan Center for Innovation, UMCI, a project that the Regents approved in October, will be an exciting addition to downtown Detroit. The proposed 200,000 gross square foot building will be the first of 3 buildings to be constructed on the site. Today, you're voting on the schematic design and to authorize proceeding with construction. It is exciting to see this project take shape. In advance of the vote today, I would like to invite Provost Macaulay to provide more context on the project.
Thank you, VP Chattis. First, I would like to welcome Scott Shireman, our director of the UMCI, who's with us in the audience today. Thank you for being here. The UMCI will bring together the best of the University of Michigan to catalyze economic development in the city of Detroit. It will house a robust portfolio of academic programs, including new interdisciplinary graduate degrees and certificate programs aligned to the skills of the future and needed to attract startups and major employers to the region. The UMCI will also host a multitude of community engagement activities for the residents of Detroit, ranging from K through 12 programs like the Michigan Engineering Zone to the Detroit Neighborhood Entrepreneurs Project and many more. We are proud to bring before you today the design for the UMCI and will now hand over to Hannah Kassem from KPF to walk us through.
Thank you, Provost Macaulay. Good morning, everyone. And thank you for the opportunity to present the University of Michigan Center for Innovation building design to you. The University of Michigan Center for Innovation will be located along Grand River Avenue, connecting directly to Columbia Street corridor with the iconic Fox Theater and Comerica Park beyond. The site comprises the UMCI as well as future incubator building, in addition and renovation of the existing historic Moose Lodge and residential building, as well as an adjacent future parking garage that serve altogether to support the function and vitality of the center. As the first building on the site, the UMCI is a catalyst for positive change, and as such presents itself along Grand River Avenue as a gateway for innovation. It proudly bears the University of Michigan's spirit, focusing on progress and inclusivity, which is embodied in its dynamic, forward-leaning form and the portal that cuts through it, inviting access to all. Its transparent facade at street level engages the passerby, showcasing innovation by putting making and research on display. The first 2 floors house public programs and shared office space for the Detroit Center, admissions office, and C's Sustainability Clinic, amongst others, while levels 3 through 6 programmed for multidisciplinary graduate research for the University of Michigan. At street level, the UMCI claims an important frontage along Grand River Avenue. The frontage is transformed into a gateway through the creation of a portal that provides porosity through the block and welcoming gesture for the public, inviting access to the park at the heart of the block. The corners are activated by gallery spaces that showcase the innovation work of the center, putting signs on display and generating interest in and access to STEM for the public at large. The building acts as a terminus to the active Columbia Street corridor, labs for the Michigan Engineering Zone, or MAZ, program, and a publicly accessible cafe saddle this portal, both with access to outdoor space in good weather and visibility that engages the public. The MES robotics lab and testing field are located along the park and across from the future incubator building, The labs have access to outdoor space that allows students to test their projects in various weather conditions and share their work with the public. The visibility of the program is key to building strong pathways to STEM for Detroit youth. And now, if you'll allow me, I would like to share with you a short video that we've prepared that presents the building. Thank you.
Thank you both for this information. With that, I recommend this action item for approval.
Thank you. Before we move to that, I understand that Regent may wish to recuse herself. Is that correct?
Yes, thank you. Please, I recuse myself from this vote.
Thank you very much, Regent Illich. Is there a motion? Seconder? Is there any discussion on this item? If so, please let me know. Hearing none, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those,
Aye.
all those opposed, same sign. It has been approved unanimously. Congratulations. We now move on to item 5, the Fletcher parking structure repairs and upgrades. VP Chattis?
Nothing further, Mr. President.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Seconded? Thank you. Is there any discussion on this? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. Motion passes unanimously. New items 6, the Taubman Healthcare Center. VP Chattis?
Nothing further, Mr. President.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Seconder?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed?
Aye.
Same sign. Okay, motion passes unanimously. Health, Taubman Healthcare Center, Taubman Fire Alarm Replacement. VP Chattis?
Further, Mr. President.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Seconder, thank you. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. Item 8, the University of Michigan Health, CS Mott Children's and Voigtlander Women's Hospitals, New Children's Emergency Services, Fast Track Clinic. VP Chattis?
Nothing further, Mr. President.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second? Any discussion?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. A supplemental item, authorization to purchase real estate. Next, we have a supplemental item requesting authorization to purchase a strategic piece of real estate in Troy, Michigan, located at 3100 West Big Beaver Road. The property will further Health's ambulatory care strategic plan for the Oakland County market, including the development of a multi-specialty ambulatory facility with a focus on advanced specialty and diagnostic services, an ambulatory surgery and procedures center, is also planned, all of which will expand University of Michigan Health in a key market and will improve access for patients in those communities. Is there a motion?
Quick comment.
Yes, discussion, open for discussion.
Thank you, President Ono. I just want to say, as a resident of Oakland County, for a long time we have missed out on having Michigan medicine in our backyard. This, as you said, will provide incredible access to that market, but also for my neighbors who are looking for that Michigan experience without having to travel outside of the county. This is a welcome, necessary, and long-needed addition to Michigan medicine's portfolio. So I really look forward to this and approving this motion.
Thank you, Regent Acker. Regent Illich.
I just want to say the same as my colleague, Regent Acker. I'm very excited about the purchase of this real estate. I think that the project is really going to be beautiful. But more importantly, we're going to be able to offer services in Oakland County. I, too, am a resident there, but being able to spread our wings and provide better quality services in this area, health services, is really a benefit to our citizens. So I want to thank Marshall for the work and the team for the work that they've done on this. And we have very high expectations for this project. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other comments from anyone virtually? All right, I just want to say that I am also very enthusiastic, and I've seen the enormous amount of work that's gone into it from the Michigan medicine team. I'd like to give a special shout out to David Miller, the president of the system, for all the work that he has done. With that, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Anyone opposed, same sign. The motion passes unanimously. We now move on to conflicts of interest. Items 9 to 24 are conflict of interest items, each of which requires 6 votes for approval. Does anyone have any questions about a particular item? If so, please let us know. Seeing none, would any regents like to recuse themselves from voting on any of the items? Hearing none, I now call for a vote for items 9 through 24 on the docket. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second? Any discussion on any items 9 through 24? Seeing none, all of the regents who are in support of items 9 to 24, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Okay. Anyone that is opposed to any of the items 9 to 24, please speak now. Items 9 to 24 pass unanimously. We now move on over to public comment. Is that correct? VP Churchill, over to you.
Thank you. I do want to note that Regent Weiser is on the phone as well. So we have 3 regents on the phone. Okay, this is the public comment portion of the meeting, and it's a regular part of the meeting that the regents set time aside for to hear from members of the public. The board doesn't necessarily respond to comments during the public comment session, but will listen to what you have to say and look into issues as appropriate. All public board meetings are formal events convened under Article 8, Section 4 of the Michigan Constitution. In keeping with reasonable and appropriate norms of decorum, all attendees, including speakers, are asked to treat others with respect and civility. Individuals who are approved to speak are expected to speak to the topic that was submitted during the registration, disclose any relevant organizational ties, and promptly cease speaking after the timer goes off. The speakers that do not adhere by these protocols may be precluded from addressing the board at future meetings. So with that framework, I'd like to start calling on our speakers. We do have 10 people that have been approved to speak today. The first one is P.F. Potvin.
Good morning. My name is P.F. Potvin, and I'm a lecturer on the Dearborn campus. I'm here today to share an open letter signed by UM community members calling for equitable raises for Leo lecturers. As you know, Leo has been in contract negotiations since October with the priority of seeing substantial salary increases for lecturers across all 3 campuses. Lecturers are highly qualified and dedicated to students. As we've repeated, lecturer working conditions are student learning conditions, and our students deserve better. Flint and Dearborn Leo faculty teach over 50% of total undergraduate student credit hours and 67% of first and second year courses. Supporting Leo faculty is a student retention issue. Fair pay and job security help us better support students and see them through to graduation. U of M is one of the wealthiest public universities in the country. We know Ann Arbor can afford sustainable funding for Flint and Dearborn campuses. Regent BM's publicly called for such funding in a 2022 interview with the Michigan Daily, stating that UM needed a president who would, quote, prioritize the Flint and Dearborn campuses, adding, quote, it needs to be more than what has been given to the campuses in the 2020 and 2021 budgets. I'm talking about $10 million a year for each campus or more. Last year, administration approved a $104,000 raise for Chancellor Grasso, $700,000 parting pay for Chancellor Dutta, while hiking tuition 4.4% in Dearborn and 4.9% in Flint. The median pay for Flint and Dearborn Leos is about $58,000. The raises management has offered at the table would not even bring that up to $60K. Salaries in Ann Arbor have also stagnated. We are one University of Michigan. Lecturers and students on all campuses deserve more. We know the money moves from Ann Arbor to Dearborn, and it's time to decide to initiate sustainable funding on all campuses. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Regent Illich has a comment.
Yeah, sorry, I'm a little fired up this morning, so I have some comments. I want to first thank our Leo colleagues for a job well done and the excellent teaching that they've performed. And especially last year, they were extremely valuable in assuring continuity and maintaining classes for our students during a significant strike. During my extended tenure as a regent, there has been continued tension and demoralization over identifying the teaching of our lecturers. They're currently identified as Lecturer 1 and Lecturer 2. They basically teach. That's their main role and function. Lecturers 3 and Lecturers 4 teach and also do service and administrative duties like run programs or student advising or both. The lecturers, I've observed over my tenure that the lecturers have long advocated to be identified as teaching professors. They would like this title to be an option for academic units, departments, and schools to determine the teaching professor title to lecturers. They also advocate that it is an enormous recruiting tool. The schools, to name a few, that have the title of teaching professor are Stanford, Berkeley, CMU, University of Illinois Champaign, University of Washington, UT Austin, UC San Diego, Caltech, UCLA, UPenn, Duke, and Purdue. All teaching professionals at these schools are hired with the teaching professor title immediately. There is no waiting period imposed. They do not have to wait over a decade to be acknowledged as a teaching professor. In 2021, the administration agreed to a teaching professor title, but only after 12 years of service. There are very specific criteria required as to what it takes to receive the working title of teaching professor. Last year at Michigan, all who passed the 12-year mark were eligible to submit the application. Of the 127 who did so, 125 were given the working title of teaching professor. They were not overly strict at this point, which is good, in applying the criteria. However, their job description or responsibilities did not change. Effective teaching contributes to student learning and success, retention, and overall academic excellence. Teaching should be valued and recognized alongside research and other scholarly activities. Lecturers 1, 2, 3, and 4 deserve the title of teaching professor, and they should not have to wait for over a decade to properly describe their role they perform at the university. They represent 1,541 professionals who teach U of M students. They are dedicated to teaching excellence, their impact on student learning and outcomes, and their role is critical in advancing the university's education mission. This title of teaching professor, which is used at multiple universities, would acknowledge and validate their contributions to the academic community. It is beneficial for both individuals and our institution, and it is important to recognize and value excellence in teaching within our academic community. Thank you.
Thank you, Regent Illich. I think Regent Brown is going to speak.
Yes, I'd like to second Regent Illich's comments. I was a member of the Leo Union as a lecturer in the engineering school at University of Michigan before I joined the board. I understand intimately the critical role they play at this institution. Academia, higher education, has obviously benefited from its long tradition of evolving slowly in its norms and practices. And I understand that this is an example of that, but it's long past due of awarding lecturers the title of teaching professionals. And I'm just incredibly frustrated that it's taken this long, and we can't wait any longer. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Regent Brown.
Okay, I will move on to our next speaker, who is Robert Goodspeed.
Hello, good morning. Sally, my in-laws and your neighbors, Tom and Kathy Benton, give their congratulations. So, hi everybody. My name is Rob Goodspeed. I'm speaking as a citizen, but I'm and a professional urban planner, but I'm an associate professor of urban and regional planning and the program chair. Speaking today about the need for regional public transit and to oppose highway widenings. And I think that's needed for the university's vision, our campus plan, sustainability goals, faculty and staff recruitment. Trains are fun, it's a good idea. According to the census, the number of commuters into Ann Arbor has increased from 73,000 in 2002 when Regent Acker and I were undergrads to 91,000 in 2019. It's a 25% increase. And the facility staff and Sue Gott knows this very well. MDOT's studying the widening of US 23 in a study which has 3 expansion alternatives, which counters lots of plans and goals at every level of government. A group of concerned citizens have created 10 t-shirts and formed an organization called Trains Not Lanes. We have a petition with over 1,000 signatures, and we're making good progress. We got MDOT to agree to study a transit alternative. We got the RIDE to come to the table to provide technical capacity. The RTA is interested. So as you know, U of M has a vote on the local MPO if the widening is brought forward. And at a moment of lesser greatness, they did vote about a decade ago on the widening north of Ann Arbor, but we think that things have changed. So to conclude, we're asking the university to participate in the design and funding of expanded regional transit in partnership with the RIDE, MDOT, us, anybody else who wants to help and oppose widening. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Kyle Otto. I'm sorry, Ott.
Morning.
Morning.
My name is Kyle Oddie. I am the president of the Club Sports Council here at the university, and my vice president is Katie German. She is a member of the women's ice hockey team, so I was delighted to hear you advocate for them. I'm here to provide some more context on the club sports issues surrounding the university. There's around $80,000 total dollars allocated to club sports annually, divided among 30 teams here. And club sports on average spend over $1.2 million on travel, lodging, competition, and other expenses, including equipment. This is a massive disparity, and for a majority of teams, this requires members paying thousands of dollars of dues out of pocket. And club sports are part of the larger rec sports umbrella, and we are the lowest priority among rec sports at the university. The university cites diversity, equity, and inclusion as an important aspect of student life, but they fail to address the barriers of entry where they actually exist. Every club sport recruits students on campus, and many students are immediately unable to participate simply due to financial barriers present for these club sports. Many club teams have had athletes achieve great international success, even producing multiple Olympic athletes from these teams. and these opportunities are simply not available to all students. And if the university truly values club sports and equal opportunities for all students, something needs to be done about the current priority and funding for club sports underneath rec sports and under the university as a whole. Greater rec sports and club sports funding provides all students with the opportunity to participate in these club sports and compete for the university, representing the Block M at a high level. Thank you.
I just want to thank you for bringing that to our attention. This is something that, we have many athletes around the table. We understand the importance of it, not only from a physical health standpoint, but from a mental health standpoint. As you may know, the Regents approve the budget every year, and I know that this will be an important topic. I can't speak for my colleagues, but based on our previous conversations, we're going to do all we can to get to increase the budget for this for rec sports. So thank you for bringing it to our attention.
Thank you, Regent Illich, and certainly part of that is a discussion about the funding formula and how those funds will be generated, and we look forward to the conversations. And Kyle, I want to thank you for speaking on behalf of the club sports teams. We know how important they are to all of you, and that's speaking from a non-athlete, but still, I know how important they are. So thank you very much, Kyle.
Our next speaker is Eric Leeser.
Esteemed Regents of the University of Michigan, my name is Eric Leeser. I'm a respiratory therapy technician at Mott Children's Hospital, and I'm speaking on behalf of the bargaining committee for our new union with SEIU. Although the respiratory therapy care workers have been organizing for 4 years now, I want to make it clear that working for the University of Michigan Medicine is the best job I've ever had. Helping patients and being part of the greater healing process is enormously rewarding and fulfilling. One of the primary reasons we've been so engaged with organizing is to maintain that. However, I wanted to speak today because while the university has spoken often of their pro-social, pro-worker ideals, we have yet to see this rhetoric reflected in meaningful action. For years, the respiratory departments have been overworked and understaffed despite the critical care we provide. We lost dozens of staff to burnout as a result. It tortures us to see that things can be done better, that our experience in patient care is being ignored while our work is taken for granted. I have the pleasure of working with some of the most talented, kind, and intelligent people I've ever met. I want the hospital to invest in them. I want the hospital to attract more people just like them. Michigan Medicine sets a standard for patient care. It should also set the standard for how healthcare workers are treated. But again, this does not seem to be a goal the administration shares. After 6 months of bargaining, the hospital is engaged in nothing but blatant obstructionism. They show up late and unprepared. Every proposal we've made has been ignored, laughed at, or countered with poison pill clauses that would nullify them entirely. All our major movements towards cooperation and collaboration have been downplayed or rebuffed. Simple boilerplate language present in many union contracts already in effect at the University of Michigan have been debated and drawn out for months. These tactics are not productive. The University of Michigan has to get used to a new reality, a new U of M that has thousands of unionized employees with a collective voice, and we want to work with the administration as partners, not adversaries. Formed a union because we're invested in the future of respiratory care at Michigan Medicine. We're invested in creating a premier work environment, we're invested in our community, and we're invested in our patients. I wish I could say that the university felt the same. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Lydia Capoletti.
Good morning. My name is Lydia Capoletti, and I'm speaking today on behalf of Building a Better Michigan as the incoming president for the 2024-2025 academic year. BBM was founded to improve recreational sport and university union facilities. This year, BBM traveled to the University of Wisconsin-Madison, where we were able to see robust programs with modern facilities. Like Michigan, Wisconsin has acknowledged the necessity of recreational sports in supporting holistic well-being. Such an impressive program is supported by both university investment and student fees. On average, the Big Ten allocates $250.03 per student in university financial support of recreational sports, with U of M being last, at merely $39.46 per student. Unfortunately, this lack of investment results in many aspects of rec sports being inaccessible, including students having to pay out of pocket for Group X classes, forcing adaptive sports teams to operate out of a local YMCA rather than U of M's own facilities, and limited building hours. CSG, Central Student Government, recently passed a resolution with unanimous consent detailing the need for increased funding to make recreational sports inclusive and accessible for all students. Overall, the most striking data point is this. At the current rate of funding, when the new Hadley Family Recreation and Wellbeing Center does open, it will only be operational for approximately 6 hours a day. This greatly limits the ability of students to use these spaces and prevents the university from gaining the full benefit of its investment. This is why it is imperative that action is taken now, and I believe the atmosphere for such is ripe. Rather than going to other universities and admiring their facilities, I hope to see them here in Ann Arbor and feel what our motto promises as the leaders invest. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Regent Hubbard?
What makes you, why would you say it's only going to be open 6 hours a day?
In our work for researching the resolution and co-authoring it with Central Student Government, we have discovered that based off of current funding and the deficit that recreational sports runs at, that will be the only operational capacity because current fees don't issue or don't support operational expenses. They only support renovations through the Hadley Center. And so without cutting hours at places such as the North Campus Recreational Center, it will only be operational for 6 hours a day based on our estimates.
Yeah. That may be the math you backed into, but yeah, it'll be open more than 6 hours a day. Not being a math scholar myself, I can appreciate what you came up with, but okay, thank you for your comments. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Next speaker is Jessica Hobbs.
Good morning. My name is Jessica Hobbs. I'm a Master's of Urban Planning student here at the university, and I'm working on a project team of 8 students through the Ross School of Business. I'm here on behalf of Equitable Ann Arbor Land Trust, a nonprofit whose mission is to build and sustain enough equitable housing so that one day all those who work in Ann Arbor can live in Ann Arbor. Currently, as you've heard, over 90,000 people commute from surrounding communities into Ann Arbor for work, many of whom work for the university. I previously worked for the university full-time myself and commuted during that time. The University of Michigan has laid out intentions to increase workforce and graduate housing on campus. With our ideas and the support of Equitable Ann Arbor, these plans can move from a vision statement and materialize to address Ann Arbor's growing housing crisis. This semester, our team has worked specifically on reimagining 70 acres of land along Plymouth Road at the Murfin entrance to North Campus. This location is the perfect place for thousands of graduate students, medical staff, and young families to form a community. This development would be best supported through a public-private partnership. It would include 4 to 6 story residential buildings with ground floor retail, a town square and community center, indoor and outdoor recreation, and abundant outdoor space, enhancing collaboration and fostering connection. A2 student project teams have met with Related, NRP, and other developers to test the feasibility and design strategies of our concepts, and we are confident that our vision can be brought to many more locations across the city. This type of neighborhood would greatly increase the quality of life to your employees and build a better university community. We thank you for listening today and welcome further conversation about the future of affordable workforce housing in Ann Arbor.
Regent Ecker?
Thank you. And thank you so much for bringing this to our attention today. I couldn't agree with you more. You're absolutely right. And I want to, as you mentioned this, I thought about an interview that President Ono gave to the Michigan Daily about this exact topic, where he said the only problem we have about this is we should have started this sooner. And I couldn't agree more, both with President Ono and with you on this topic. We do need significantly more housing in Ann Arbor, and the university needs to do more in the exact place that you are talking about to create those communities, but more importantly, to help do our part to make sure that Ann Arbor is affordable for graduate students, for young families, because they're an important part of our community. And as much as possible, we should stop people from having to commute 20, 30, 40 miles in order to work here. It's simply unacceptable. So thank you so much for that.
Let me just say, VP Chattis, I'm sure you can speak more eloquently, but the Campus Plan 2050 that is going to be released in several weeks. Could you speak a little bit to that being an aspect of that vision?
Yeah, aspect exactly where you're talking about, that portion up by Plymouth Road. And I think we're launching an ISR survey on graduate and workforce housing needs next month, if not next month, very soon thereafter. So a lot more to come, but this is definitely a key element of our planning sorry, you're right there, for 2050.
Yeah, I was going to say, Vice President Chess, I don't think we should wait till 2050.
No, we won't for that. Yes, we'll be starting this year for sure.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Tina Alkershan.
Hello, my name is Tina Elkerson, and I'm an alumni of the College of LSA and the University of Michigan Law School. I'm here today as a member of the University of Michigan Alumni for Palestine Group to address the shocking actions the university has taken this last week to create a dangerous campus climate for Palestinian students, allies, and activists. Instead of addressing anti-Palestinian rhetoric on campus, the university administration is creating it. Just this last week, Vice President for Student Life Harmon issued a university-wide statement singling out one Palestinian student for a post made on her private social media account. I'm quite frankly appalled that Mr. Harmon would wield the university's institutional power to threaten and bully one student who lost 14 family members in Gaza this week and has already suffered multiple doxing campaigns. Following Mr. Harmon's statement, President Ono issued an equally chilling statement that trifles the free speech of activists on campus. Instead of acknowledging legitimate student concerns, President Ono foreshadowed disciplinary actions for disrupting, and I quote, a joyous event. Let me be clear, there is no joy when a genocide is ongoing and the university is complicit. Despite overwhelming evidence that Israel is perpetrating war crimes, the university has yet to acknowledge the genocide and address its complicity. Instead, the administration has chosen to spend its time making campus a more dangerous place for Palestinian students and their allies, mirroring the sharp rise in anti-Palestinian sentiment in the United States. Make no mistake, statements like these psychologically and physically endanger students. We need look no further than Vermont, where 3 Palestinian students were recently shot. In a recent survey presented by Michigan faculty, 90% of respondents said the university was failing in its messaging regarding Israel's genocidal campaign in Gaza, while 50% of faculty and 39% of students have contemplated leaving the university due to its treatment of Palestinians and messaging on Palestine. Listen to what your students, staff, faculty, and alumni are telling you. Retract your statements, issue an apology, and protect students instead of implementing draconian measures. Thank you.
Thank you. Neil Wolf, I believe, signed up to speak but is not signed in to speak today. So I think Neil is not here. So our next speaker is Angela Johnson. Is Angela here? No, she did not come in. Okay. Maybe our last speaker then is Asher Lopayton.
Thank you, President Ono and Regents. I want to say that student who issued that Instagram called for the death of all Zionists, which includes me. But I speak as a parent of a 7-term Angel Scholar and a freshman Branston awardee, and also as the Director of Community Relations for the Jewish Federation of Greater Ann Arbor. Sunday morning, the century-old honors convocation, a sacred tradition of this university, was supposed to be a moment of pride in my children while cherishing the university, which has given them such opportunities. But that moment was cruelly ruined by students who violated other people's sacred space with hateful words, selfishly placing themselves and their cause over all else, caring nothing for their fellow students who had worked so hard to get there. I expected the university to follow through on the guidelines they had posted and restore decorum. Instead, the students being honored were abandoned by this university. The faculty and the administration surrendered and left. The whole ceremony was ruined by the lack of the university's proper follow-through in its own policies. The Jewish Federation speaks as a voice for the Jewish community, Jewish parents, employees, staff, and faculty and students of the largest employer of Washtenaw County. We want the university, which we love, to be a place where everyone, whatever their religion or political beliefs, feels safe. Safe to walk, for everyone from the dorm to their classes in peace to be exposed to different ideas, even ones that are challenging, but without hate and intimidation. We want all students to be able to speak freely, to protest, to express themselves, but not by violating other people's safety or sacred spaces, not by intimidating or threatening people that disagree with them. No one should exploit the right of free speech to violate other people's right to feel safe. Jews on campus are vulnerable. Yes, all Jews, we are, and afraid, my children, to go to commencement, to attend anything like Sunday happened. Please establish a community advisory council to continue the conversation. Thank you.
Thank you. Regent Hubbard?
I'd like to thank all our speakers for coming today. We really appreciate your thoughtful comments, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you very much. The meeting is now adjourned.